Nobody has done that but him in NBA history. I mean, it's spectacular to see. There's no doubt about it.
That LeBron James is only about LeBron James. For him to want and to wear a patch, nobody else wants to wear it. Nobody else is going to wear it.
Stephen A. Smith rarely looks truly puzzled on live television, but this time his reaction said it all. It wasn't the usual heated debate or another attention-grabbing sports take. Something about this situation clearly caught him off guard. At first glance, the issue might seem minor, but the deeper you look, the more it opens up a much larger discussion. This latest controversy centers on LeBron James and a jersey patch that has sparked far more attention than anyone expected. And before we dive into the full story, make sure to join the NBA Take Game family by subscribing for more exciting NBA highlights, news, and exclusive basketball content.
LeBron James is going to be wearing a patch on his jersey that is honoring LeBron James.
The truth is, jersey patches have become a normal part of the NBA. Every franchise wears them. Corporate sponsors, brand partnerships, and advertising are now woven into the league. And while not every fan likes it, most have grown used to seeing them. But when LeBron James becomes connected to a situation like this, the conversation immediately takes on a different tone. It stops being just another sponsorship story. Instead, people begin debating influence, power, and whether the boundary between basketball and big business has become almost impossible to separate. What makes this story interesting is something many people have overlooked. The backlash wasn't really driven by the jersey patch itself. It gained traction because LeBron's name was attached to it, leading fans and analysts to question just how much of the NBA's landscape revolves around him. The discussion goes beyond his performances on the court or the legacy he's built. It now extends to his perceived ability to influence public narratives, affect how situations are viewed, and at times, steer the direction of the conversation before it even fully develops.
Nobody else is going to wear it, and the NBA historically has not a single time, outside of death, had a patch on a single guy's uniform honoring just that guy. No sport in the history of our country has ever allowed a single player while still playing to wear a patch that honors him and nobody else.
Now let's take a closer look at Stephen A.'s response, because that's where the story really begins. He wasn't delivering one of his usual harsh critiques, and he didn't come across as angry. Instead, he seemed genuinely caught off guard. That reaction is significant coming from someone who has spent decades covering the NBA and has witnessed nearly every kind of controversy the league has produced. It suggests that even people within the sports media sometimes feel LeBron James' influence has reached an unusual level. Stephen A.'s message was straightforward, whether people agree with it or not. He questioned when the spotlight shifted so dramatically away from the actual game. At what point did jersey patches, merchandise sales, marketing strategies, and off-court image become just as important as the basketball being played on the court?
It is now run by LeBron James, apparently said, "Yes, sir, no problem, sir." And in LeBron's next game, he's going to be wearing a patch that says all-time leader made field goals.
This is where the discussion becomes more complicated. When the attention surrounding a player shifts away from what happens on the court and focuses more on everything happening around the game, it can reshape the way that player is viewed. For LeBron, many believe that change has developed gradually over the years. Optics play a bigger role than most people realize. A jersey is meant to represent the franchise, the city, and the team as a whole. But when certain branding elements begin to feel closely connected to one player, it can create the impression that the individual is becoming larger than the organization itself. That perception can lead to tension. Fans don't only support star players, they also build strong emotional connections with their teams. If it starts to seem as though the franchise is taking a backseat to one individual, that bond can slowly weaken. The effects may not be obvious right away, but over time they can influence how people experience and follow the sport. At the same time, it's important to keep things in perspective. LeBron didn't invent the NBA's business-driven approach. He simply became one of the best at navigating it. There's an important distinction. The league has been moving toward greater commercialization for years through worldwide marketing, corporate partnerships, and expanding media opportunities. LeBron recognized that evolution early and learned how to maximize it better than almost anyone else. Still, that's where the debate becomes more nuanced. Excelling within a system doesn't automatically mean every outcome is good for the sport. As more people discuss the balance between basketball and business, many are beginning to ask whether this shift ultimately benefits the NBA or changes the game in ways that deserve closer examination.
I mean, LeBron James has been that dude in terms of his physical conditioning, but I'm not really worried about it for a different reason.
Young players often make the same mistake. They look at LeBron's career and assume that building a powerful personal brand is the key to reaching the top. The belief is that if the marketing comes first, success on the court will naturally follow. What many overlook, however, is that LeBron's reputation was built on years of elite basketball. His brand grew because of his exceptional performance, not the other way around. The concern now is that some players may be trying to reverse that formula by prioritizing image before proving themselves on the court. Looking at the bigger picture, this discussion extends far beyond LeBron alone. The NBA is going through a period of change, with different stars representing very different approaches to success. Players like Nikola Jokic continue to dominate through their play, while showing little interest in shaping public narratives. Giannis Antetokounmpo remains focused on winning games and helping his team succeed. Meanwhile, younger talents such as Anthony Edwards are earning respect by letting their personalities come across naturally instead of carefully managing every aspect of their public image. That's why this debate has become more noticeable. On one side are players who allow their performances to define them. On the other is a model where branding, messaging, and public perception are carefully planned and managed. Fans are increasingly finding themselves drawn toward one approach or the other. For that reason, the jersey patch controversy has come to represent something much larger than a simple design or sponsorship issue. It has become a symbol of the broader discussion about the direction of the NBA and the balance between basketball, branding, and the modern business of the game.
Everybody know MJ's my GOAT, but this is the greatest case that LeBron James has made for GOAT status.
Here's the aspect that isn't getting much attention. The NBA has always thrived on great storylines, but in the past, those stories usually developed on their own through what happened during games. Today, some people feel the narrative is created first, while the action on the court simply follows along. That brings us to the bigger discussion about LeBron James' legacy. Few players in NBA history can match what he has accomplished. Multiple championships, MVP awards, remarkable longevity, and countless records have secured his place among the game's all-time greats. Yet LeBron's legacy has never been defined solely by statistics or trophies. It's also shaped by the way he has managed every stage of his career. Over the years, he has exercised a level of influence that many believe is unprecedented, extending beyond basketball itself. Whether it's team decisions, media attention, or public perception, LeBron has often been viewed as someone capable of influencing the conversation in ways few athletes can. For much of his career, that ability was praised as a sign of intelligence, strategic thinking, and a deep understanding of how the modern sports world operates. But here's where the perspective begins to change. When a player's influence starts to feel all-encompassing, when it seems as though every development connected to them is carefully managed, it can affect the way fans interpret everything that follows. That's where the situation becomes more complicated. Once supporters begin questioning whether things feel genuine, rebuilding that confidence is difficult. In sports, authenticity matters because it's what makes unforgettable moments feel meaningful and accomplishments feel truly deserved. This is why Stephen A.'s reaction stood out. His response wasn't simply one of confusion. It reflected the sense that something may be shifting. To him, the balance between basketball and everything surrounding it appeared to be moving too far in one direction. That same feeling is becoming more common. It's showing up in online discussions, sports talk shows, and debates among analysts. More people are asking whether the NBA should place greater emphasis on the action on the court rather than the narratives that surround it. This is also where many young players can misunderstand the path to success. They often chase the spotlight itself, even though the spotlight is usually the result of sustained excellence. Consistent performance, winning, and making an impact are what earn lasting recognition. Without those foundations, Attention can quickly become pressure instead of an advantage. At the same time, this conversation extends beyond LeBron James. It also raises questions about the environment the league has created. The NBA has always benefited from superstar appeal and internationally recognized players, and LeBron has been at the center of that for much of the past 2 decades. Still, many people are beginning to wonder where the balance should be. How much influence should one player have over the league's broader narrative? And what happens if that influence starts drawing more attention than the competition itself? Another point that often goes overlooked is the effect on the next generation. Young players are watching how LeBron has built his career, observing how the league responds, and learning from that example. If they come away believing that managing public narratives is just as important as performing at an elite level, it could shape the direction of the NBA for years to come, and not necessarily for the better. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, this discussion goes far beyond a simple jersey patch. At its core, it's about identity and the direction the NBA wants to take in the years ahead. Is the league meant to be defined primarily by competition, or has storytelling become just as important? Of course, the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. A successful league can embrace both compelling narratives and high-level basketball. The challenge is maintaining the right balance, and moments like this have led some observers to wonder whether that balance is beginning to lean too heavily toward the business and branding side of the sport. That's where the concern grows. If this shift becomes the standard, reversing it may become increasingly difficult. Fans adapt to new expectations, players adjust their priorities, and over time the culture of the league evolves along with them. Before wrapping up, it's worth returning to the biggest point of all. LeBron James' achievements on the court are firmly established. His championships, awards, longevity, and records have already secured his place among basketball's all-time greats. That part of his legacy is not in question. What continues to generate debate is how that legacy will ultimately be remembered. Legacy isn't shaped only by accomplishments. It is also influenced by perception. When conversations about a player include as much discussion of off-court influence as on-court excellence, the overall picture becomes more complex. It adds new dimensions and sparks debates that might not have existed otherwise. So the real question is no longer about a jersey patch itself. It's about what that patch has come to symbolize. Does it represent another example of LeBron staying ahead of the curve and understanding the business side of basketball better than anyone else? Or does it suggest that the balance between competition and commercial branding has begun to shift too far? One thing seems clear. Stephen A.'s reaction wasn't simply about a logo stitched onto a jersey. It reflected a broader conversation about what that logo represents and what it could mean for the future direction of the NBA.